Hi, how are you? Welcome to our first webinar in English. Today we stayed with the Catch and Answer model team. Remember that today we are going to talk about digital courier, optimization of corporate correspondence in a digital environment. So remember that your panel is active, and the idea is that if you have any question about our session, you write in this panel. So Moises and our panelists, if you want, can start.
So thank you, Valeria. I'm really pleased to welcome you all to this webinar about our product, Digital Courier, and the optimization of corporate correspondence, which is actually the main goal that we want to show you how this product will help you optimize your correspondence process. We are holding this webinar with answer models. We have Patrick and Paolo also joining us. And while we wait for your questions also in the panel, as Valeria just stated. So let's start. So this is the product. It's called Digital Courier, and well, first a little confidentiality notice, and this is the agenda that we're going to follow today. So let's just start speaking about correspondence management and what is correspondence management and what is the system, a correspondence management system. We could easily define it as the main goal for correspondence management as to deliver. Okay, so what we intend in correspondence management is to fully control the communications, the official communications of the company, either physical or electronic communications. And we need these systems to be compliant because we have regulations. We need them to be efficient as well, and we need them to be integrated to systems. So in order to deliver our correspondence system, even if it's managed by an internal service in the company or if it's outsourced, we need certain things from it. We need it to be fast, we need it to deliver to the right recipient, and we need to be cost effective because we are that last mile in the communication between our company and our customers, our partners, stakeholders from any kind. So we have to see this as if we have these clients, these internal clients that are our employees who use the system day to day, and also our operators, the correspondence operators. But we have to look to the needs of those external clients as well. If we are in a B2C, we are facing citizens or customers. If we are in business to business, we have suppliers, stakeholders, or other clients that are companies as well, or even government agencies of different kinds that are those entities to whom we communicate, who use our official communication system. So we have to think on their needs. And as our clients, internal and external, are so different, they're really any kind of potential client, and in all core processes, the correspondence is used to start different processes, flows, and different communications. So we cannot allow mistakes. That's another important thing that should be said for correspondence management. And we are facing great challenges today. I'm wearing a mask, and we have all changed last year our day-to-day work. So we are facing these challenges, and the main challenge is an increased digitization, because we need to digitalize our processes and repositories. We are facing remote working. It has come with the pandemic, but it's here to stay. We are changing our model to remote working or hybrid, remote and in-place working. Our systems are going cloud, electronic and cloud as well, because it's cost effective. We need to have transparency and consistency, and this integration is here. It's part of this digitization, and we need to have systems that communicate one another and that centralize information really efficiently. Also, your users, they have some needs that are growing in terms of regulation, the user rights for their data, GDPR, California Privacy Act. We have these new compliance measures. We have compliance on confidentiality on security of information as well. Users do want to have handy applications, that they want to have control of the information they're holding. They don't want to ask other technicians for reports and stuff like that. We're also having electronic signatures that has come into place for ECM years, decades now. And we have a system assistance. We all want now to be easily helped by those systems we use in the decision-making process. So those are the big challenges. But we have also the traditional challenges, the user pain on the correspondence management process. Because for our internal users, for example, an HR manager, they have struggles. They have problems normally delivering confidential, keeping confidential information confidential, letting the correspondence arrive to the system records. They lose track of information all the time. They have problems where they have to demand similar information, but they don't know, for example, filing numbers. They lose track of information. And also that leads them into problems delegating responsibilities because they don't know who will address which communication. That's a normal problem that has to be solved with flexibility, with smooth integrations with the process, and with a system that adapts into the structure really fast, that you can parameterize and it goes really fast. For our external users, for example, associates or stakeholders, suppliers, or our final clients, that they complain and they use the correspondence systems also to let us know their needs. They have certain problems as well. They have certain pains. They usually are facing low service availability. They have to move in order to file communications to our companies. They also lose track. For example, if we hold many communications or a requirement with a specific external user, they usually lost some track of their communications as well. It's really hard for them. They don't know whether the communication was delivered or not, and sometimes they have difficulties also giving proof of what they have, where they have delivered or what they have been delivered from us. So we need control. We need to give them control, to give them fast answers, and to give them proof of what they have done in terms of the communication with us. That's what they need. Also, we have our front desk operators, the one that run our system every day. And they are normally facing difficulties to find information because it's them who receive those requests for information. It's them who are usually asked to create reports out of nowhere, and they will need to demand technical assistance from a database expert or something to load some information. Sometimes when a correspondence or communication is lost track, it will be them who will be asked for proof. They hold the burden of proof as well. So they need to find information very fast. They need to trace those movements because they have the responsibility. They need to, sometimes it's really hard for them also, the physical delivery of this last mile delivery of physical packages or communications as well, because they don't know the locations. Now it's changing even more in this remote working and hybrid systems that we are incorporating in our companies. So it's kind of a big problem for them, a big issue. And finally, for the administrators, they are facing changes in the organizations because business structure changes every time, because they have to attend some special requirements perhaps, and that means increasing workloads, losing the balance of the workload. They are having struggles as well obtaining key performance indicators. They might need technical support for some of that stuff. These are things that are happening now in our organizations, in our companies, and that the business owners, the owners of the process of correspondence that suffer every day, they actually have to invest significant amount of resources in order to achieve this kind of requirements. So here's our value proposition. We have Dgtal Courier, which is a solution that will allow filing, distribution, and management of correspondence, also enabling functionalities for control, monitor, reporting, and disposition of official communications, both physical correspondence and electronic correspondence, through all their life cycle. That means receiving, distribution, management of correspondence, acceptance, and it's supported by the extended or OpenText Enterprise Content Management capabilities. So it's in compliance with document management and the correspondence management regulations as well. This is a brief overview on the solution. It's linked with electronic signature. It has an email-based inbox. It has an external portal for external users to load their communications and registration menus. And we will just see them in a while. But first, I would like to point out our value proposition. Our core values that are, first of all, compliance, because our companies, mainly those in government or, for example, those in strategic business activities like energy, healthcare, oil and gas, they have specific regulations or security that will force them or that will make them have a centralized management that will be made by extended ECM, that will demand them to standardize procedures, for example, digitalization and distribution of workflows and tasks, to have a consecutive filing that we keep in a year-to-year numbering reset, that they demanded to have monitor, and we have also these secure verification codes that guarantee the authenticity of the communications for third parties. Our second core value is flexibility, because we know that these systems need to be parameterized. So we have a huge amount of parameters on this that can be changed in order to modify templates, emails, PDFs, for example, forms, and lists in order to model your organization, your workplaces, your facilities, and your different projects, for example. We have tasks for approval, review flows of documents, and we have a distribution management that allows to change the distribution mechanism and keep track of the communications of the process. Our third value is the efficiency. I'm really proud of saying this. We have a zero paper process. We'll let you achieve a zero paper process. We don't even print we don't even need the sticker papers for the labels, actually. We have assignments and reminders that will let the users that will like tasks be reassigned when they are due, for example, or to have delegated users. We are using electronic distribution for electronic communications, but physical communications as well. And we have an outage control system, because sometimes we have downtimes in our systems, and that happens, but the correspondence process must keep going, because, as I said before, no mistakes are allowed. So we allow to load correspondence that was delivered during an outage, for example. Our fourth value is integration. It's integrated into systems just because it's based on OpenText Enterprise Content Management and the Answer Model Suite capabilities, which allows integration to other systems. It also uses electronic signatures, native integrations as DocuSign, for example, and it also integrates with different CRM or email-to-case functionalities like Salesforce or Dynamics 365 if there is a need to control certain requests by those systems as well. And finally, the ease of use, because it's a role-based approach that will allow users to have different views of the system according to their role, administrative assistants, administrators, operators. And it has also a friendly interface, which is based on email and assignments. For external users, we have self-registration, and for operators, we have also assisted distribution that will help them deliver these communications as well. So before I start showing the actual solution, well, I'd like to introduce you to the enabling technology that was used to build Dgtal. This was the model suite, and this is an award-winning solution extension for OpenText Content Suite that was created by our partner, Answer. The model suite is an integrated add-on technology that integrates with OpenText Content Suite and extended ECM that will help you deliver any type of business solution that's on top of the platform in half of the time. That's possible because Model Suite offers a unique low to no code approach that will help you work smarter and faster. This means improving many functionalities existing in Content Suite in content server using the content suite. For example, I will just state the forms as we used in this solution, and create the dynamic forms using logic for data collection and processing. You can smooth the user interface. You can customize the smooth user interface. There's also automation functionalities that we also used a lot for this solution that will help you to easily automate any action or task. For example, background tasks as we have here. There are also workflow integrations that we use in order to, for example, send and receive emails, and we can also automate any data management that goes beyond in a workflow. And well, you can integrate your systems with literally any external source, as we, for example, have with the external electronic portal for the external users as well. So, well, this was the technology that enabled Digital Courier as well, that made it possible. But a lot more of a smart business solution can actually implement and have been implemented thanks to the model suite. Just to state some examples, case management applications for HR onboarding, project management solution for the construction industry, or even a solution management factory lines and production as well. So, well, I will start now talking about the biggest core functionalities on the Digital Courier, and the first one is electronic correspondence. What we look for the electronic correspondence management was to provide your collaborators with different alternatives, so that they can create, assign, manage, and search their own official communications safely, and simplifying operation tasks. Give them control. That's the main idea. Give them control over their communications, the entire process: creation, management, and search. And this is kind of the flow that users follow. They have to create a document with a template, they'll start a correspondence workflow that they might review, and then the PDF is generated automatically, also using the model suite, and they will go there just to signature, distribution, and storage in the content server. This is both for internal correspondence and sent correspondence as well. And they're doing this through this interface that, as I told you, is like email-based interface. It's entirely integrated into the extended ECM content server, and will adapt the options according to their role. So a normal user might see a communication inbox, for example, like the one that's been shown in the screen, that will also include links to the documents and attachments, and to the distribution flows, if the user has the appropriate role as well. Also, this interface has some assignment sessions based on assignments, so the user can access the task related to review, approval, and acceptance of electronic correspondence, and the management formula also to accept or reassign the physical correspondence through these assignments. And he will also have access to queries that will allow him to search the communications using different type of filters and export these results, for example, into Excel. And well, finally, for the internal users, there is a functionality to create communications. As I told you, they have the appropriate role in the system. They'll be able to access the forms in order to create internal or external communications. These forms include lists or subject categories or correspondence types that will trigger rules of distributions according to the configuration that administrators can also handle. This PDF will also let him preview this form will also let him preview the PDF and send it for distribution, well, signature and distribution as well. And well, for the external users, as we stated before, well, are also an important part of the system, or an important client of a correspondence system. We have a portal, an electronic office, a portal that's published in internet that will allow them to register through a self-register using identity services, for example, Azure B2C, and the user will have options to create communication, accessing an electronic form, They will also have an inbox. You can also update their data, including acceptance of terms and conditions if this has changed. And there's also for a third party a document validator section. So this is how the flow works for external users. They will just log into the portal. They will select the form, fill out the information, attach documents, and they will send it to the system. This communication is shipped also through the model suite, and then when it arrives into the system, it will launch distribution workflow that will create a PDF with the filing number and will assign the communication to the recipient if it was chosen, or to a validation level 1 group as well. And when the answers are, when the communication is answered, he will also be able to see that information through his inbox in the portal. And if there is any need to give certified copies of the information, the electronic option also has this document validator, where unregistered users can use a secure verification code that's within the file PDF and download certified copies. That it's really useful for audits or for external parties that has to log into the system and verify the information in order to verify the authenticity, for example, of a copy in any compliance or regulatory process. Well, I will now show you a demo on this electronic office of correspondence. I have it right here. And that's it. So the external user will just get into the portal, click on register, write his email address, and well, the identity provider will verify the email through the sign up flow. Once he enters the verification code, he will just have to enter a password. The security is guaranteed through this identity service. And once he logs in, he will just have to add some extra information on the city, location, and if it's an enterprise or a citizen as well. So add some extra information. And as I told you, you'll have to accept terms and conditions and data handling terms. These terms are parameters of the system, so the administrators can also modify them. When they are modified, the user will have to accept them again. For example, even if he just signed up, he will have the information that he has received from our company in his inbox, and well, he will just create an electronic filing, write the recipient if he knows it, the type of communication subject, add some observations, and finally add the attachments. These attachments are also configurable. You can also restrict which types of attachments and the size. The system validates through the connection using Model Suite to the connection with Content Server if the user exists, and will just send the communication to the user. Right now, it will just appear in the send session as well, and once it starts to flow in the system, user will receive a PDF with the secure verification code, links to download the attachments as well. And for the recipient, the internal user receive just a task, she will receive just a task in this case, and will be able to see the attachment, see the communication, and just accept it in order to end the process. It's as simple as that. It's really smooth, it's really fast, and the idea is to turn it a process that was perhaps before with physical correspondence to turn it entirely digital, and to make users control their own communications. Now, the internal user will also be able to query that communication within others, both physical and electronic, and to see it also in her communication inbox. If perhaps it was a communication or a petition or request, it will send email also to Salesforce if it's connected to that, or it will send extra copies according to subject categories as well. So this means that we can parameterize, and it's flexible as well. It's not just like sending the form to the user. It will also be able to have some logic in the background and to enhance the distribution flow as well. So that was it for electronic correspondence. Now we're going to go to the physical correspondence, because as I told you, we're managing both types of correspondence in the same system. So the idea when we speak about physical correspondence, is to achieve the optimization of the process, and by filing communications directly inside OpenText extended ECM, using also barcodes, and it helps helping users to digitize the process and have also a 360 degrees view that will allow them to control the process, and also, for example, to have to register tracking numbers, shipping tracking. So they will have, our operators will have an entire control of the process, including tracking numbers and proofs of delivery. For the physical correspondence, there are three main values here. So the idea is to make a quick filing or registration of the communications when it arrives to the front desk using printed barcode. Also the digitization of correspondence and attachments to functionality like enterprise scan. To also assist the distribution, because this physical correspondence needs to be routed or shipped by courier services. So we allow the generation of these routes or shipping forms as well, associating the external proofs of delivery or tracking numbers as well. And it's also customized, because our companies, as we have seen in the year before, are changing a lot. We have turned back into Office, or we have continued on a hybrid system mechanism, so you can customize these business rules as well in order to change locations, for example, to change the number of front desks that you have, to change the routes for internal distribution. So the idea is that it's really parameterizable. You can parameterize any information of the system. And the client here, the user here, is the front desk operator. So he has also an interface that will allow him to file internal sent or received communications, generating labels that can be dynamically located in order to overprint them in the communications, in the arrival communications. It also will allow to register return correspondence, for example, in these forms as well, or the outage correspondence. Correspondence during an outage. It will also allow the user to digitalize and archive the communications using enterprise scan, and it will also have a query section. This query section will allow the user to search communications according to their origin, but also search dispatching forms or internal routings, and so they will always control and track a communication. And they will also be able to filter those results and export these results to Excel as well. And other functionalities for distribution and management is that, well, as I told you, the system will allow them through forms to generate internal delivery routings and dispatch forms in order to send communications through courier services that are also parameterized in the system, which can change can be changed by the administrators, and also to manage certain physical communications, for example, making reassignments, changing the distribution types from one to another, and allowing the user to also load the shipping tracking numbers through a form that will do it automatically. And well, for the distribution as well, the final user, the recipient, will also have a form that allows them to manage and receive communications, also according to their role. For example, an assistant manager will be able to receive the communications that are for his department, an administrative assistant, so not necessarily he is the recipient, but if the recipient belongs to its department, he'll be able to do that task, and that will help with the flexibility of the process, because sometimes the end user is not available to deliver, and we have to load that communication into another routing in order to deliver. So with this role management, this will be kind of solved. And well, finally, the administrators of the correspondence, the business owners, in this case of the correspondence process, we are also thinking of them in the solution. We know that what they look is agility, what they look is a system that's simple for users and that's efficient as well. So we're hoping for them to manage their correspondence in an agile, simple, and efficient way, to optimize search times, guarantee a successful flow. Because we all want to close these flows. We, as a manager of correspondence process, we want that not to be noticed. Let's say, the less we are noticed, the most efficient is our system. Because when we are spotlighted, it might be because something got lost or some problem that's going on. So we want it to be simple and efficient, just smooth. But we also want to adapt to the needs of each business unit, because we are requested many specific flows of distribution as well. So for the administrators, well, we have some managed lists. For example, the departments in the company, the number of stakeholders, companies, front desk, physical locations, cities, they can all be administrated by managers. Just adding or removing information from those lists, the system parameters that will allow managers to customize the forms, change templates because our corporate image changes frequently as well, change the emails on the system, as well as the data in the communication. We will allow managers, correspondence administrators to cancel communications just by a form, creating a PDF, because sometimes it happens that we have to cancel communications undelivered, and there's a procedure that it's not really easy for the end user. Administrators will be also able to configure exceptions for sending copies, for example, or delegations, in order to allow users to accept the communications of another. And there will be also some business rules in order to audit constantly, to continuously audit communications from according to the recipient's department, for example, or the sending company, because sometimes you are asked for those kind of specific audits. So you can configure an audit system and just create periodic reports, also using scripting background from the model suite, and it will allow you to audit communications really easy. Users can also configure queries and do queries as any other user can, but in the entire amount of communications. And there are also database views that will allow them to connect this system to a business intelligence, for example, a business intelligence platform, allowing them to get easily the key performance indicators, because they have access to the data on the distribution, the flow, the times, all in just one, three simple database views that can be easily connected to any other system to exploit that information as well. So that's kind of it for the three main functionalities: electronic or physical correspondence and administration of the system. But I will just sum up on the main benefits that you might have when using this solution as well. Because just to sum up, this is the option to have a configurable, secure solution that provides full traceability of all the correspondence process, physical, electronic. That will also enable strategic decision making, because it has multiple reports, because it has multiple audit, and because you have entire control of the communications with it. The most relevant benefits, let's say, to sum up, are paper reduction. I really love this one, as I told you, because it's a zero paper office, really no need for extra paper on the process. The reduction of management times, because as a big part of the process on distribution flow is automated, it's really optimal, and you don't have to go and seek for one correspondence everywhere, or to ask database administrators to create complex reports. to get information as well. The high traceability and be able to consult in real-time communications because all the information is centralized. Even you can connect a business intelligence system, as I just told you, or also a big advantage that you take advantage of the investment that you already have, because you can exploit in a really wide process that's used by all your final users, all your employees, let's say. So you can take advantage of that investment that's content server, OpenText Content Server. Also the reports and analytics, it's really important because it will let you understand how the process works, manage the workloads, manage your resources in the process. And well, as the system is parameterizable and scalable, you'll be able to enable your communication formats, change them really easily, no need to do extra developments in order to change templates or images or this corporate image stuff that changes a lot. And you can also adapt business rules. So there's no need for experts or SQL knowledge in order to get a specific information and communication, so to audit certain type of communications. So that's really kind of it. It's parameterizable, it's flexible, as we just said, it's in compliance, it's flexible, it's integrated to systems, it's easy for the end users, and it's efficient.
Remember that this session stayed in recording, and post-event we send you a mail with all this information. The idea is that you can share it with other persons that you consider this information is valuable. So, Moises, I don't know if you want to say any more, if the person who stayed in the session write a question in a moment.
Well, it's okay. Please, if you have any questions or doubts, or if you want to see anything else, just let us know. Or if you have any additional questions, you just can email them and we can answer them. If you prefer, we can coordinate a different meeting to a one-to-one meeting to see perhaps a live demonstration or something. On the product, I can also add some things on the functionalities perhaps, but I think it's almost done a brief overview, so I will expect for specific questions maybe.
Okay, Moises, I have one question, and is it run over OpenText Content Server 16.org here?
Yes, it's available on 16.2 OpenText Content Server and above. So yes, it can be configured in the system with 16.2 or above.
Okay, the next question is it necessary to add more servers in our OpenText landscape?
No, it's not necessarily. If you want, you can add an additional server for the portal, external portal, but that's not actually a need for any additional server. It's just optional in the installing configuration.
Okay, so wait more seconds if any person can or want to write any other question. So yes, in this moment have another question, and is it include the license for DocuSign?
No, DocuSign is a web service, so licensing held differently per signature, I think, so it will work like apart from it.
And the last one in this moment is, I haven't licensed module suite. It is mandatory to deploy Dgtal Courier?
No, it's not mandatory right now.
Okay, I don't know if any person have another question about this session. Is the time that we can write and our panelists answer each one.
Well, so I think good. Okay, so thank you very much, everybody, for the attendance, for your attention. here are the contact as well for us and answer models. So if you have any extra or additional questions, you just can drop by and contact us.
Okay, yes, I consider that there are no more questions. So we can end the session. Thanks for all the people who stayed in this live session. The idea is that you can interested in this kind of topics. So thanks to Answer Modules and our team TechEdge to our interesting session. So goodbye and thanks.
So bye, thanks.